The Ghost of Tsushima New Game Plus mode and the Legends multiplayer is out now. You can download the new update and then get the Legends multiplayer via the menu that takes you to the PlayStation Store. I will of course do an in-depth video on everything that this big patch brings to the game. But first I got exclusive info from an interview with Darren Bridges, the lead on Ghost of Tsushima Legends, and Nate Fox, of course the creative director on the main game. I learned a ton of interesting details that will help you a lot when playing the new patch. But I also talk about things that you will not encounter until very late, like legendary gear. I have new info about the raid, new game plus tips, and way more. So let's get into it. A like on the video would really help the channel out, and let's go. Let's start with some new interesting New Game Plus details that I learned from Nate Fox. For one, the New Game Plus charms that we saw recently demonstrated, like the one where you pet dogs to turn them into allies, will be available in that new special vendor that we can find in Ariake, which is over here on the map. We can also buy a ton of cosmetics here that we already saw showcased as well, but the idea is that you can really choose what you want to unlock first. If you want to get that charm that creates the lightning with the heavenly strike when there is a storm, then totally unlock that as your first option. But if you want unique new outfits worn by characters from the main story or just cool masks that we could not get before, they can also get them first. For all the New Game Plus items you need ghost flowers. When you start New Game Plus we do have that New Game Plus horse immediately, but then the map will have Fog of War again, and they can rediscover things and replay missions that then reward you with the ghost flowers. Overall the game has scaled up because our New Game Plus Jin is of course way stronger than normally when you would start the game the first time around. So the enemies are more aggressive and powerful, but they still don't have a lot of hit points, so they should still die from a few slices. We can also get new upgrades for our swords, bows and armors in the New Game Plus mode to make them even more powerful. But if the game is still too easy for you in this New Game Plus mode, then you could also equip new charms that make it even harder. So those should be available in the new shop as well. They can, for example, equip them in the new loadout feature that will save charms per armor set, so you can easily switch between playstyles. And this feature is also available in the regular game, so not only in New Game Plus. I asked about New Game Plus Plus, so restarting the game after you finish the New Game Plus, but that is sadly not possible for the people who just want to keep going. We will likely be able to get both ghost color armors though, if you make a different choice at the end of the New Game Plus mode, which is cool. Although Nate was not 100% sure about this, he did think that that was the case though. What we do know for certain is that some cosmetics will carry over to the Legends mode, like the Platinum dye for the Ghost armor for getting the Platinum trophy, and also all the half masks in the game. So you can immediately show them off in the Legends mode, which is pretty cool, making those hours spent in the main game even more worth it. And now let's talk about the Legends mode, because I learned a ton of interesting things about that as well. We start with a tutorial that gives you control over each class, so you can already feel them a little bit before you decide to unlock one. At the end of every mission you do, you get XP to increase the level of the class you are playing, and after a certain amount of ranks, you unlock another class. Darren, the Legends lead, notes that it would take around 2 to 4 hours to unlock an additional class. And if you just want to focus on one class, then you will still eventually unlock all the other classes as well. And every class has a technique tree that should be fully unlocked when you reach around the level 20. And in these trees you find special abilities like an ultimate that you do for resolve, but also basic abilities like the Ronin can summon a spirit dog to help you. Every class also has an alternate ability, and for the Ronin you can, for example, be even more supportive and then switch the dog for an healing aura, so you can help your teammates even more. There are two types of modes at launch: linear story missions that you can do with one other player, but you can also try everything yourself, by the way, which is pretty cool if you feel confident. It will of course be hard, but you can try it. There will be 9 story missions, and after playing one, the other one unlocks, and they all have 3 different difficulties: bronze, silver and gold. First you will play them all on bronze and then unlock silver and gold, and in those other difficulties there will be different encounters, like other enemies you will face, new rewards, and there should also be bonus objectives added. So really replaying these missions should be quite different. And next to the 2-player missions, you also got the 4-player survival missions that will all be available from the start. And again, are also playable alone, although they will be harder, of course, to solo than the 2-player missions. Also interesting is that you cannot immediately jump into one of the higher difficulties because you need a minimum required gear score for that. It is a range, so you can jump in when you might not be powerful enough, but still try it. But really, the higher your score, the easier it gets. And we already saw the gear score in the menu here. It will work as you kind of expect, with the game rewarding you higher gear than your current gear score. So you keep getting better, although it will likely also be linked to the difficulty you play on. We all see different katanas here, like a stone katana and a wind one, and these are linked to the stances of the same name. So if you have a stone katana equipped, you can only do the stone stance, while later swords unlock multiple stances. But there will also be katanas that have different traits, like poison on the weapon, so you deal poison damage. Every class can use every weapon, including the ghost weapons. Only ranged weapons are exclusive, like the hunter can only use the longbow, for example. And by the way, good to note is that you only get items that can be used for the class you are currently playing. And there will be some high-level legendary items that only one class can use as well. And legendary gear sounds quite great. I cannot show you it yet, but I do know there's a legendary sword that enables all the stances. So that should be a reward from a gold mission or from completing a part of the raid. And we know, of course, that the raid is coming after launch, a few weeks, still no specific time window yet. I did learn some more about the raid though, like for example that they expect you to really have a team and communicate via a headset. And you need to have friends who are skilled and also patient to get through the 3 different chapters that all give you a reward. And if you completed the raid once and understand every encounter and got a good team, then it should take you around the 1 hour to complete, while the first time it will likely take you multiple hours to get through it all. You can play the raids multiple times per week, but there's a weekly reward per chapter, and again, that can be very powerful gear, but you can also get cosmetics in the Legends mode. And now we learned that at the launch of the mode, we will actually see all the cosmetics that are already available, including ones we can earn from the raids. But yeah, we can just look at them and just not earn them yet. And overall, cosmetics are unlocked by leveling your class, but also by doing special challenges. So totally check this window to see what you have to do to get the cosmetic that you want. So we will have a few weeks to get a high gear score for the raid. The maximum for the Legends mode, at least at launch, should be 120. But the raid should require a little lower than that. And I also asked about like daily and weekly activities, and yes, there are some really special activities like that. So we got regular daily challenges, but also weekly challenges. And the weekly challenges are basically a 4th difficulty, where every week 1 2-player and 1 4-player survival mission will be selected with this higher difficulty. And the difference also is that you get a score after beating one of these missions that then applies to a leaderboard, but you can replay these weekly missions for a higher score that then in the end gives you a high level gear piece once a week. But just like the raid and the gold difficulty missions, you do need a high gear score to participate in these weekly challenges to begin with. And not sure if the gear score will ever increase post-launch, because the thing is, they will be listening to feedback, but overall the Legends mode is a self-contained content drop with all the content at launch and then the raid later and the weekly missions that of course keep going. But there's no 1-year plan or anything. It seems like this will be it, although maybe if it's like super successful they change their minds. For now though, we should not expect any more updates after the raid, sadly. Although I gotta say, for a free surprise mode, this already sounds incredibly huge. Subscribe, of course, for way more on Ghost of Tsushima Legends. A like on the video would really help the channel out. I'll be posting the full interview as well, so you can check it out on the channel. I will also link to it in the pinned comment. I will also be streaming it when it goes live with a countdown timer in the pinned comment too, so hope to see you there. And totally check out other Legends content by clicking on the screen. For now, have fun with the mode. I think it's gonna be great, and I will speak to you next time. Goodbye!